So we read Ultimate Black Panther issue number 12, and needless to say, it changed the game, or at least solidified the game. So I want to go back and look at Ultimate Black Panther issue number 1, and we're going to look with a set of fresh eyes. I'm going to hit the high points, and if we need to focus on something, we'll focus on it. So we start off in West Africa, where the avatars of Khonshu and Ra, who are also on the Maker's Council, are taking over land in the name of their gods. And we find two Wakandan spies who are contemplating whether to do something or go back and tell the king, T'Challa. And of course, they decide to go back and tell T'Challa what is happening outside of Wakanda. Speaking of T'Challa, we meet him for the first time waking up from a nightmare. Now that we've read issue number 12, we know nightmare is a recurring theme in this book. And he is talking to his queen and his wife, Okoye. And whatever nightmare he had told him one thing: traditions must change. Next, we see T'Challa talking to his father, T'Chaka, about these nightmares, and he suggests that T'Challa consult the Vodou Khan. The Vodou Khan is like this religious council that's been around Wakanda for ages, maybe since the beginning, and neither T'Chaka nor T'Challa really trust the Vodou Khan. Then we meet the matron Amala, the mother of the Vodou Khan, and T'Challa tells her about his dreams, and Amala basically wants him to concentrate and maybe learn from those dreams. T'Challa also tells her, like he told his father, that he's kind of standoffish with the Vodou Khan. And even though T'Challa is standoffish, she repeats herself and tells him to trust his dreams. He says he won't rule out of fear, and I like where she says, don't rule out of fear, rule out of awareness. Here we meet his sister Shuri, and apparently she's not as cautious as her brother, as she wants to take the Moon Knight head on after hearing what happened in West Africa. But just in case a fight is necessary, Shuri has assured that Wakanda is ready. But outside of Wakanda, there is another force that opposes the Moon Knight forces: Eric Killmonger and his love, the Wind Rider, aka Storm. Later on, you have a gathering of Wakandans along with T'Challa and T'Chaka. And just when all was going great for Khonshu, for Ra, we have an attack from the inside on Wakanda, on T'Chaka, and on T'Challa the Black Panther. The attackers detonate the explosives, we lose T'Chaka, and T'Challa activates his habit, and all of the patience, the intel gathering, the questions they had go out the window because Wakanda and Moon Knight are at war. Ultimate Black Panther, issue number 2. So we pick up a month later with T'Challa and Okoye having a discussion about the steps that we've taken in the month since Moon Knight supposedly attacked Wakanda. And we're debating whether it's the right thing, whether we're acting out of fear. Because right now Wakanda is basically on lockdown because one of the attackers was one of their own, and we don't know who to trust just yet. Well, we're going to talk here about the Vodou Khan and another person, Okoye, who is warning T'Challa that the Vodou Khan does not have his best interest in mind. And while Okoye does believe in T'Challa, tells T'Challa he is enough, he's going to have to decide for himself what he believes and how he thinks he needs to move forward. And when T'Challa goes to see Matron Amala, who is the head of the Vodou Khan, she once again gives him a prophecy, which includes the fact that he is going to have a child with this Lady of Light. And this child is going to be the heir that Wakanda has been looking forward to for generations. And while T'Challa tells Amala that he's never wanted to be the king of war, Amala again tells him it's his destiny, and destiny cares not for what we want. Again, we're at war, and we see the Dora Milaje do what they do, but then in comes T'Challa, showing the forces of Moon Knight Wakanda's might. Elsewhere, we have Ra and Khonshu speaking with this Lady of Light about what's been happening and telling her they're not pleased so far in the losses they have suffered. But she reassures them that she's on the inside, she knows what's going on, she has a plan, and most importantly, she wants to take down Wakanda as much as Moon Knight does. T'Challa meets with Shuri, Okoye, a couple of Doras, and the two spies that first saw Moon Knight, and lets them know that they are the only people that they can trust. And the two spies figure that they know how to track Moon Knight. With this information, T'Challa lets everyone know that he is going to go and confront Moon Knight alone. The two spies want to go with him, but they are ordered to protect Shuri and Okoye. And with that, T'Challa takes off, but he does have Shuri in his ear, for the most part, until he gets hit, crash lands, and then he gets ambushed by Moon Knight's forces, and whatever vibranium is in this habit, it is getting put to the test. But just like that, the sky opens up, lightning strikes, and T'Challa sees a woman of light. Ultimate Black Panther, issue number 3. First, we check in with Shuri and Queen Okoye. We're told that Shuri knows what T'Challa is up to, but Queen Okoye is in the dark, and while Shuri disagrees, Queen Okoye thinks that she should know what T'Challa is and not just have to trust her. So, they decide to work this out in their own way. It was a very productive conversation. But in the end, Okoye is convinced that Shuri is right. As for T'Challa's location, he is having a man-to-man with Killmonger. No King, no Black Panther, just T'Challa and Killmonger. This also lets Killmonger give T'Challa an outside view of Wakanda, since they're talking on even playing fields. But the other purpose of this meeting and conversation is discovery, and T'Challa is about to learn that there's a lot going on outside of Wakanda, and there's a lot going on that he has no clue about. Inside the cave is vibranium, but what we find out is T'Challa has no control over his suit, which is laced with vibranium, and Killmonger tells him that it's because he is not the master down here. I want you to file away vibranium-laced suit won't follow T'Challa's commands for later. Even deeper in the cave, we meet Storm, and we learn a little more about her. The one thing that's unique or ironic about this version of Storm is that Killmonger trusts T'Challa and trusts Wakanda to a point. Storm has not reached that point yet. My assumption is that she's only helping because Killmonger asked her to. What is she helping them do? Well, she's the transportation to the deepest parts of these caves so that they can show T'Challa what they have discovered, because they think this is what the forces of Moon Knight are really after. And so far, all we know is that it's a big green orb. We don't know what it is. We don't know who it serves, what purpose it serves. All we know is that it's a power source that Moon Knight cannot get a hold of. And that was Ultimate Black Panther issue number 3. Not a lot of action, and not a ton of moving the story forward. But I do think it's important for us to get to know Killmonger, get to know Storm, and for them both to help broaden T'Challa's horizon outside of Wakanda. I'm sure we're going to get back to outside of Wakanda later on, but next, it's on to issue 4, so we can learn what this green energy is.